XRP, just 3 letters, but in 2025, these 3 letters could rewrite the rules of global finance. Right now, while the world is distracted by Bitcoin headlines and meme coins, something massive is brewing in the shadows. Quiet meetings between Ripple executives and central banks, whispers of an IPO, legal clarity after years of courtroom battles, and behind closed doors, powerful institutions are preparing for a move that could send shockwaves through the markets. I'm talking about the green light, a single moment when a US XRP ETF gets approved. And when that happens, the floodgates open. Trillions in institutional money, hedge funds, pension funds, major banks, all racing into one asset with the speed, scale, and clarity they've been waiting for. Imagine the headlines. Imagine the chart. Not a slow climb, but a tidal wave of liquidity crashing into the XRP market in days, maybe hours. And here's the truth. Most retail investors will be too late. They'll be watching from the sidelines, telling themselves they knew it was coming, but never took action. If you understand what's really at stake, you know this isn't just about catching a pump. This is about positioning yourself before the single biggest transfer of wealth in modern history. So the only question you need to ask yourself right now is, when that green light hits, will you be ready, or will you watch history pass you by? Part 1, pay close attention, because what I'm about to reveal could be the single biggest XRP opportunity you will ever see in your lifetime. Picture this. It's 2025, and one single decision, one green light from regulators, sets off a chain reaction across the global financial system. Hedge funds, pension funds, mega banks, all moving at once, pouring billions, then trillions into one asset, XRP. This isn't a slow trickle. It's not a gentle rise. It's a flood, a tidal wave of institutional money that could rewrite market history in a matter of days. And here's the truth. When that moment comes, there will be no second chances. If you're not ready, you won't just miss a trade. You'll watch history pass you by. You'll be the one standing on the sidelines, watching someone else catch the wave you saw coming but didn't prepare for. And the worst part? Deep down, you'll know you could have been in. That's why in the next few minutes, I'm going to break down exactly what's happening behind the scenes and why the clock is ticking faster than you think. Part 2. For years, they told you XRP was dead. They pointed to the lawsuits, the delistings, the price crashes. Every headline, every tweet, every so-called expert, all pushing the same story. XRP is over. It's done. Move on. And maybe at some point you started to believe it. Maybe you sold. Maybe you stopped paying attention. That's exactly what they wanted. Because while the noise distracted the crowd, something far bigger was unfolding in silence. Behind closed doors, Ripple was cutting deals with major banks, forging partnerships with governments, and laying the rails for a new global financial system. The kind of system where XRP isn't dead, it's essential. And by the time the headlines finally flip from XRP is over to XRP changes everything, it might already be too late for most people to catch up. Part 3. Behind the scenes, something extraordinary was taking shape. While the headlines screamed panic, Ripple was quietly moving chess pieces the world couldn't see. They were signing multi-million-dollar agreements with some of the biggest banks on the planet. Banks you've heard of, and banks you've never even known existed. They were securing legal clarity in the US, the very thing every other crypto project is still fighting for. And they were forging partnerships across 40-plus countries, weaving XRP into the very infrastructure of tomorrow's financial system. While most retail investors were panic selling, the smart money, hedge funds, institutional traders, private equity, was quietly loading up, positioning for what's next. This isn't random, this is coordinated. And if you think all of this is happening by accident, you're not paying attention. XRP isn't just surviving, it's being prepared for a role so big most people won't believe it until it's too late. Part 4. Now, the puzzle pieces are snapping into place. faster than anyone expected. First, IPO rumors are no longer just whispers. Ripple executives themselves have confirmed it's on the table. And an IPO of this scale doesn't just make headlines, it forces Wall Street to pay attention. Second, CBDCs, central bank digital currencies, are already running on the XRP ledger. Not in theory, not in a white paper, but in real-world pilot programs with governments and central banks. This is the kind of adoption other cryptos only dream about. And third, ETF speculation is building at a pace we haven't seen since Bitcoin and Ethereum broke through. If those two could pave the way, XRP could follow. And when it does, the demand shock could be unlike anything the market has ever faced. Put those three pieces together, and you don't just get news, you get a roadmap to a once-in-a-generation financial event. The moment a US XRP ETF gets the green light, everything changes. In a single stroke, trillions in institutional money could pour into the market. We're talking hedge funds with billion-dollar portfolios, pension funds managing the retirements of millions, megabanks with more capital than some entire countries, all moving at once, all flowing into one asset, XRP. And here's what makes this different from any other rally you've seen. XRP already has something the rest of the market is still fighting for: legal clarity. No more uncertainty. No more, wait until the lawsuit is over. The rules of the game are set, and XRP is playing with a full green light. Add to that a global infrastructure already in place. 40+ countries connected. CBDCs live on the XRP ledger, liquidity corridors ready to scale. And you've got a setup the market can't ignore. This isn't speculation anymore. This is the blueprint for a tidal wave of capital that could rewrite the history of global finance. And XRP is sitting at the very center of it. This isn't a moonshot. This isn't a quick flip for fast profits. This is the reset of the global financial system. And in that reset, XRP isn't just a player on the field, it's the rails the entire system runs on. Every payment, every currency swap, every cross-border transaction, moving seamlessly, instantly, and at a fraction of today's cost. Imagine the world's largest banks and governments transacting on infrastructure powered by XRP. Not as an experiment, but as the default. No waiting days for settlement, no billions lost in transfer fees. Just instant movement of value anywhere on Earth, 24/7. This isn't the future of crypto. This is the future of money itself. And the countries, the companies, the investors who understand this now, before it becomes obvious, will be the ones positioned to benefit most when the rest of the world wakes up. So here's the question. When that green light hits, when the US XRP ETF is approved, when the flood of institutional money starts pouring in, will you be ready to ride the wave? Or will you be standing on the sidelines, frozen, watching it all crash into someone else's account while you tell yourself you'll catch the next one? Because here's the truth. There might not be a next one. Events like this don't happen every year. They happen once in a generation, and those who hesitate don't just miss profits, they miss the kind of life-changing opportunity people tell stories about decades later. The question isn't whether XRP will move. The question is, will you move with it? If you're truly serious about your financial future, you can't afford to miss what's coming next for XRP. This isn't just another crypto update. This is the kind of shift that can redefine your entire strategy, your portfolio, even your retirement plan. So here's my advice. Stay until the very end. Because the final insight I'm about to share could permanently change the way you see XRP, the way you think about money, and the way you prepare for what's coming. One last thing. When you hear it, you'll understand why some people are quietly making moves right now, while the rest of the world is still asleep. In just a moment, I'm going to walk you through the exact timeline that could unleash this tidal wave of capital into XRP, and more importantly, the signals you need to watch for before it happens. We're talking about the kind of clues insiders track quietly, the dates, The events, the announcements that tell you the move is coming before the rest of the market even realizes it. And here's the key. Once these signals line up, there won't be time to hesitate. By the time the headlines hit, the smart money will already be in, and you'll be left chasing. Stay locked in because what I'm about to reveal could be the difference between being ahead of the flood or drowning in its wake. The clock is ticking, and every day we get closer. XRP's biggest moment isn't years away. It could be months, maybe even weeks. When the switch flips, when that green light hits, there won't be a warning siren. There will just be a flood of money moving faster than the headlines can keep up. So here's the question you need to ask yourself right now. Will you be ready to move with it, or will you be standing still, watching the biggest wealth transfer of our time pass you by? Because when history is written, there are only two types of people: those who saw it coming and acted, and those who didn't.